I do not know if you read some time ago how one of the marshals of the Russian army reporting to the Politburo said that in the army they were training soldiers under hypnosis. You know what that means? You are put under hypnosis and taught how to kill, how to obey completely, function with complete independence, but within a pattern, under the authority of a superior. Now, culture and society are doing exactly the same thing to each one of us. Culture and society have hypnotized you. Do please listen to this very carefully. It is not only being done in the army in Russia, but it has been done all over the world. When you read the Gita endlessly, or the Quran, or repeat some mantra, some endless repeated words, you are doing exactly the same thing. When you say, I am a Hindu, I am a Buddhist, I am a Muslim, I am a Catholic, the same pattern is being repeated. You have been mesmerized, hypnotized, and technology is doing exactly the same thing. You can be a clever lawyer, a first-class engineer, or an artist, or a great scientist, but always within a fragment of the whole. I do not know if you see this, not because I describe it, but actually see what is taking place. The communists are doing it, the capitalists are doing it, everybody, parents, schools, education, they are all shaping the mind to function within a certain pattern, a certain fragment. And we are always concerned with bringing about a change within the pattern, within the fragment. So how is one to realize this, not theoretically, not as a mere idea, but see the actuality of it? You understand, see the actual? The actual being what is every day taking place and is spoken of in newspapers, by politicians, through culture and tradition, in the family, making you call yourselves Indians or whatever you think you are. Then when you see, you must question yourself. I'm sure you would if you saw it. And that is why it is very important to understand how you see. If you really saw it, then the question would be, how can the total mind act? I do not mean the fragment, not the conditioned mind, nor the educated, sophisticated mind, the mind that is afraid, the mind that says there is God or there is no God. There is my family, my nation, your nation. Then you will ask, how can this totality of the mind be? How can it function completely, even while learning a technique? Though it has to learn a technique and to live in a relationship with others in our present disordered society, bearing that in mind, one must ask this question, which is a fundamental one. How can this totality of mind be made completely sensitive, so that even the fragment becomes sensitive? I don't know if you have understood my question. We shall come to it in another way. At present, we are not sensitive. There are spots in this field that are sensitive, sensitive when our particular personality, our particular idiosyncrasy, or our particular pleasures are denied. Then there is a battle. We are sensitive in fragments, in spots, but we are not sensitive completely. So the question is, how can the fragment, which is part of the total, which is being made dull every day by repetition, how can that part also be made sensitive as well as the total? Is this question fairly clear? Do tell me. Perhaps this is a new question to you. Probably you have never asked yourself about it, because we are all satisfied to live with as little trouble and conflict as possible. In that part of that field, which is our life, appraising the marvelous culture of that little part as opposed to other cultures, Western, ancient, or any other. We are not even aware what the implications of this are, of living in a tiny fragment, a corner of a very vast field. We don't see for ourselves how deeply we are concerned with the little part. And we are trying to find answers to the problem within the fragment, within that little corner of this vast life. We ask ourselves, how can the mind, which is now half asleep in this vast field, because we are only concerned with the little part. How can we become totally aware of this whole thing? Become completely sensitive? Now, first of all, there is no method, because any method, system, repetition, or a habit is essentially part of the corner of that field. Are we traveling together, taking a journey together, or are you falling behind? The first thing is to see the actual fact of the little corner and what its demands are. Then we can put the question, how can we make the whole field completely sensitive? Because in that lies the only true revolution. When there is total sensitivity of the whole of the mind, then we will act differently. Our thinking, feeling will be wholly of a different dimension. But there is no method. Don't say, how am I to arrive, achieve, become sensitive? You can't go to college to become sensitive. You can't read books or be told what to do to become sensitive. This is what you have been doing within that corner of the field, and it has made you more and more insensitive, which can be seen in your daily life with its callousness, brutality, and violence. I do not know if you have seen the pictures in magazines of the American and Vietnamese soldiers being wounded. You may say it and say, I am so sorry, but it has not happened to you, not to your family, not to your son. So we become callous because we are functioning, living, acting within a small, petty little corner of a distorted field. There is no method. Please do realize this, because when you realize it, you are free of the enormous weight of all authority, and so free of the past. I don't know if you see this. The past is implicit in our culture, which we think is so wonderful. The tradition, the beliefs, the memories, the obedience to it. And all that is put aside completely, forever, when you realize there is no method of any kind to bring freedom from the little corner. But you have to learn all about the little corner. Then you are free of burden which makes you insensitive. Soldiers are trained to kill, practice day after day, ruthlessly, so that they have no human feeling left at all. And that is the type of thing which is being done to each one of us every day, all the time, by newspapers, by political leaders, by the gurus, by the Pope, by the bishops, everywhere, all over the world. Talk to you later.